Hey, what's up, everybody? BDF44 here with another video. All right, so I want to give an opinion about the Lakers' um, prospects of acquiring Damian Lillard. I don't know that he's someone we could possibly get. In fact, I would argue that Portland would probably not want any package that we would offer. And I think they can get a much better package if they send him elsewhere. So I'm not saying that we could get him, but I think providing an opinion um, is necessary just because that's what I do. So here's my thing. If you guys watched my last video, you know what I think in regards to the Lakers having um, ideas of going forward and how best to acquire superstars or whatever, how to best acquire assets rather, and what direction you should go for if you want to do that. Damian Lillard is currently injured with an abdominal injury, and he's coming off of having a struggle season thus far for shooting the ball because of that injury, I believe. He's in his 30s, mid 30s, and he is not a player who has been accused of being a great defender or a great facilitator. Now, he fits great with LeBron James in theory, so long as you have defenders down there to help those guys, because he's going to be a shoot first guy that LeBron James can help set up, and somebody who takes a lot of pressure off of him scoring the ball and particularly being clutch down the stretch. We know Dame Lillard's one of the most clutch Hall of Fame players this game has playing today. If he were given the right tools, he probably would already be a champion. He's one of the only guys I can remember ever knocking off not just one, but two different playoff series with clutch buzzer shots. He is definitely solidified as a stone cold killer. And my respect for Dame Lillard as a basketball player and the character of the guy that I know him to be, as well as an MC, knows no end. So I'm not going to sit up here and bash Dame Lillard as I provide this opinion. But what I will say is, I'm good. I'm good. I want to go young, y'all. I think at the end of the day, and don't get it twisted, it's not because I'm comparing these two players. I'm not. But I'm just saying, if I want to go forward, I'd rather have a LaMelo Ball. He's younger. You know what I mean? If I want to go that route, just give me the younger version. And I'm not saying he is, but I'm just saying next star. Like, give me a younger guy. Give me Luka Doncic. You know what I mean? Give me, if I want to go superstar, you know what I mean? Let me find one who's in his early 20s, mid 20s, so that I know I have a path forward that doesn't give me more of what I already have, if I may say so. I think the problem that the Lakers are running into is the fact that we can't defend. So if I bring in Dame Lillard, I've watched enough Dame Lillard to know he's not a good defender. You know, his best defense is his offense. His best defense is his killer instinct on that end of the ball. He's not locking anybody down, you know, and that's not something I can do anything with. And that's just how I view basketball. I don't like non-defensive offensive players unless they're super reliable and are young enough to be able to hold down the load. And if I'm in a position to put them, of course, the defenders around them is already set. So I don't think the Lakers are in a position to really build a proper team around Dame Lillard. I think what you would be hoping Dame would do was just come in and do more of what he does, which I think can get us some wins. But when I'm talking about winning a championship, I don't think he can win me a championship. Not without those pieces in place that I think the Lakers would have a hard time getting if his contract were on board with what we have. Now, that doesn't mean that I think Dame Lillard can never win a championship in a good situation, because if he goes to Philadelphia right now and plays his best, gets healthy, him and Joel Embiid might be able to do that this year. But my concern would be just for the Lakers and the lack of assets that we have with no picks and stuff like that. I would be concerned for Dame to be coming to a situation that's more like similar to the one he's in right now in Portland, where they've had issues with their books, as we've talked about greatly on this channel. So he should be getting out of a situation like that, going into a situation that's either more flexible or a situation even better that already has everything he needs to just come in and be himself and win a championship. And that's not what the Lakers provide. So I'm cool. Couple that with his injury issues and his age. I don't want more of the same. You know what I mean? We did that with Russell Westbrook. We picked up Russell Westbrook thinking he was going to be something that he's no longer at this time. And then you couple that with my opinion of the issues the Lakers have offensively, which comes with our coach and how that goes. So at this point, it's like, nah, Dame's not what we need. Let's look forward. I want to acquire some guys that just came into the league right now. Give me Scotty Barnes. Give me Evan Mobley. Like, that's where my head goes. Give me Anthony Edwards. You know, when we talking about the type of players I want, give me Darius Garland. That's the direction I want to go because that's the future. That's where the league is headed. Not only are they going to help me win now, because I think a lot of those guys can help me win right now, but they're also going to get better and help me win tomorrow too. And that's where we're headed. You know, if you get stuck in today, or even worse, get stuck in the past, you do what the Lakers did and you get run past. That's what we're living through. So let's not continue on that path of getting older, you know, or becoming in love with the offensive end and failing to understand that defensive issues are the bane of our existence right now. We need to get defensive, we need to get better, and we need to get younger. Dame doesn't do that for us out of 2 out of 3. So for me, it's a no-go, man. It's a no-go. Not as the team's currently constructed. Obviously, again, we don't have a path to acquire him anyway, so who cares? But I feel the same way about James Harden. I think if you're trying to win right now, as I said, James Harden can help like Philadelphia. If he gets traded to Philadelphia, I think they have a good chance of winning. You know what I mean? If your mission is to be as best you can be today and don't worry about tomorrow, then you reach for a guy like that. But if you're trying to look forward and see where you're going to be projecting 2 years, 3 years, 4 years down the road, especially if you have limited picks, like say the Nets and the Lakers do, no, you need to make sure that the superstars that you're paying $200 million or $40 million a year can not only be young enough to hold down the load, but also are defensive enough to make sure you don't have any lapses on the floor. We saw what happened with Russell Westbrook in the last game. That's going to be something people talk about for a long time. Why? Because most of our cap is wrapped up in him. And he couldn't even come defensively in the right angle to stop a player that's not even an all-star. And Reggie Jackson, no disrespect. But, you know, how are we going to have success against some of the best guards in the league if one of the most important players on our roster can't defend? So, no, that's the issue with Dame Lillard. And I'm cool. I'm very cool. But it ain't got nothing to do with whether or not Dame has earned his spot. It ain't got nothing to do with whether or not I'd like to see him in purple and gold as it pertains to just dreaming of having great players play in this uniform. Of course, we'd love to have Dame 5 years ago, 3 years ago. But now, not for our needs. Not for what the Lakers are lacking. Absolutely not. That's the wrong way to go. And that doesn't mean that it's absolutely positively a situation where you just can't win a championship with Dame. I'm not going to say that. But when it comes down to a 7-game series and you got a guard down there that cannot defend, you're going to have trouble. And we're about to experience that right now if we don't trade Russell Westbrook. We're going to have trouble, especially, again, if the coach is Frank Vogel. So that's what I got to say about that, man. I know the Lakers played in, the Knicks today, so I'm going to give y'all another video on that. But I do thank you guys for watching this one. My name is BDL44, and I'm out.